Judith Collins, if you could please do the honours and announce tonight's award for us.
Right, here we are.
Drum roll, please.
Oh, well, this is lovely, an old friend. Now, the Community Service Excellence Award goes to Anjan Ruckman.
Anjum Nusrat Rahman is a leading and reassuring voice for ethnic women in this country, particularly Muslim women, and does not need any introduction. A chartered accountant by profession, Anjum has always had a passion for building stronger communities. And it was not surprising for a girl who had experienced isolation and exclusion throughout her childhood and adolescence for being the only ethnic Muslim kid in the neighborhood in Hamilton growing up. In her own words, she had to wait right until university, after having lived her entire childhood in the traditional white Pakeha neighborhood in Hamilton, where she had first arrived with her parents as a 5-year-old before being able to find friends she could relate to. The experience she shared with her friends from ethnic migrant families in those early formative years has shaped her resolve and passion for working for creating a socially cohesive, inclusive Aotearoa. The story of Anjum Rahman from the early 1970s till the late 1980s was the same repeated story of an ethnic migrant minority kid having to undergo multiple struggles and inner conversations in their attempt to come to terms with decisions that their parents made to migrate to an altogether alien culture. However, what happened soon after Anjum reached adulthood was a radically different script, as Anjum gradually untethered herself out of her comfort zone to become the voice of an invisible community in this beautiful country, refusing to leave the task of shaping the kind of world she wanted to raise her children in for others. She was involved in the establishment of the Islamic Women's Council of New Zealand in 1989, a national organization dedicated to providing a voice and representation for Muslim women, and became its first secretary. Since then, she is on a lifelong journey of supporting and becoming the voice of the most invisible members of our ethnic communities, in multiple capacities, as a media spokesperson, trained human rights facilitator, strategic advisor, and in governance roles to develop organizations which empower ethnic minority women. She sits on a number of boards, sharing her financial skills and consensus-building approach, fresh perspectives, and strong community connections. Since September 2019, she is the co-chair of the Christchurch Call Advisory Network, a group from interested civil society groups who represent a range of perspectives, including human rights and public policy, and was selected as one of 3 to speak on behalf of the network at the Leaders Dialogue in New York. Also, in 2019, she founded the Inclusive Aotearoa Collective, Tahono, a project that will develop a national strategy for belonging and inclusion in New Zealand and implement it using the constellation model. By all means, this is an unfinished task, and Anjum will continue to be the shining star of the Kiwi-Indian community.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you the recipient of the Kiwi-Indian Community Service Excellence Award for 2021, Anjum Rahman.
Well done and congratulations. I was blown away by that winner's video. The CV and the list of achievements is just incredible. I'm so blown away by the talent and the community and the passion here that's on show tonight. Thank you so much to all of our dignitaries for doing the honours tonight. And I'd like to invite our winner up to the podium to share a few words. Thank you so much.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. E ngā mana, e ngā reo, e ngā iwi, e ngā rangatirama. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. I'd like to begin by acknowledging mana whenua, Ngāti Whātua o Rākei, And because, of course, I'm a Waikato woman, I have to acknowledge the Kingitanga and King Tuheitia. And the traditional UP Uttar Pradesh greeting, which is the state that is the birth of the English language, Adabarso. I am coming tonight from Christchurch, where I've spent a few days at the Counter-Terrorism Conference, and it was a time when we were focusing on some of the worst aspects of violence and hatred and the way that people go down that path to causing harm to others. And, you know, in the work that we do with Inclusive Aotearoa Collective, it's really about how do we stop people going down that path? How do we bring people together? And I had the privilege last year of travelling to 46 towns and cities across New Zealand. And we talked to people, we had long conversations about their feelings of belonging. And we heard many wonderful stories of things that Kiwis are doing here, but also many stories about how they're struggling, how they don't fit in for many different reasons. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because I know in the Indian context, I come from a minority community. And if anything came out in the last few days, it is that we also, within minority communities in New Zealand, have to recognise that we have work to do internally as well as the discrimination we might face from the wider community, and that minority communities have got to have those difficult conversations to build solidarity. But for me, as an Indian a minority within India, to be recognised by the Indian community means so much. Really, this is one of the most precious awards that I have been given, and it is a recognition from my own community, and I feel it really deep in my heart. So thank you for that. And what I would like to leave you with, you know, when we ask people across Aotearoa, when do you feel like you belong? The most common answer that people gave was when I can be myself. When I can show up fully. When I don't have to hide or pretend. When I don't have to try and conform. And I think that that is what I would ask of all of you in your leadership positions, in your positions of influence, in your communities, in your families. Create that environment where every person can show up fully as themselves and be loved, be valued and respected. Thank you.